officers.
Ms. Powell, is there anything you want to say to me at this time? Okay.
There was a lot of screaming going on, so he couldn't really say if it was like a physical fight, but just heard like a lot of yelling and screaming going on. And then he tried calling back twice, and there was no callback.
In a single moment, a peaceful family home had become the scene of a crime.
Welcome to End of Time Crimes. This is End of Time Crimes. End of Time Crimes. Sydney Powell, 23-year-old resident of Akron, has been convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment for the murder of her mother. The brutal act involved repeatedly stabbing her with a sharp object and beating her using a cast iron skillet. The incident unfortunately took place 4 years ago. The sentencing was presided over by Judge Kelly McLaughlin of Summit County Court. Powell, who was only 19 years old at the time, hid what she thought was a secret to her, that she had gotten expelled from college. That was until her mother, Brenda Powell, found out.
Ms. Gaffney, if you can take a look at that and let me know if you recognize what it is.
Yes.
Okay, what is that document?
This would be the letter indicating that Sydney was suspended.
Okay, so that's a suspension letter. That's the letter that's sent to students?
Yes.
Okay.
Subsequently, a series of unfortunate events unfolded after all the truths were discovered, resulting in a violent altercation. She fought, stabbed, and slaughtered her mother. Brenda Powell, her mother, had served as a dedicated life specialist at Akron Children's Hospital for childhood cancer and blood disorders for a considerable period of time. May her soul rest in peace, as justice was served on her behalf, although her family went against it.
And Ms. Gaffney, what did you do next?
We called the Akron police. By that point, I had the phone number up and the address, and so we called the Akron police and indicated we felt there was some sort of situation at this house and that they needed to send someone right away.
She committed that act due to her severe mental illness, specifically schizophrenia. The attorney representing the rest of the family, including the defendant's father, Jeff LeBourne, expressed that the family's intention was not to have her stand trial for murder. He emphasized that Powell's actions were driven by her significant mental disorder, which led to a state of psychosis as diagnosed by their family medical professional. Powell's attorney plans to file with the court a motion and appeal to go against what the jury in trial convicted her of, the verdict of guilty. They believe that they have a defense that how the law was written in Ohio's aren't fair, and therefore they are going to fight this case. Unfortunately, after a lengthy deliberation period exceeding 9 hours, the jury reached a verdict in her trial, determining Sydney Powell guilty in the murder of her mother.
The only thing that I knew is when I tried to sign on to the like their whatever app that they have on the website, it kept kicking me out.
Why were you trying to get into that portal?
Seeing, because the 529 plan didn't cover all the tuition for the year, so I had to make a personal check.
Okay.
So I had to see how much that was.
Okay. And when you had difficulty logging onto that portal, what did you do?
I asked Sydney what was going on about it.
Okay, and what did she say?
There was a mistake with Mount Union,
Okay,
and she'd look into it.
okay, and at that point you had no reason not to trust what
Correct.
she's telling you?
Correct.
I have received and read all of the letters that have been sent to me. I have considered the evidence that was brought into evidence at the trial, the statements of counsel, and all of the information that is before me at this time. I do find that counts 2 and 3 merge with count 1 for purposes of sentencing in this matter. Based upon the facts and circumstances of this case and in consideration of the relevance, the court imposes the following sentence. On count 1, ma'am, I sentence you to an indefinite sentence of 15 years to life in the Ohio Department of Corrections. On count 4 of the indictment, I sentence you to 3 years in the Ohio Department of Corrections. Those 2 sentences to be run concurrent with and not consecutive to each other. Ma'am, please understand that on count 4 of the indictment, you may be subject to a period of post-release control upon your release. And if you violate that post-release control, the Adult Parole Authority is authorized to return you to prison for up to 9 months for any single violation and up to 50% of your prison sentence for all violations. Please also understand that if you're placed on post-release control and you are convicted of a new felony, in addition to being punished for that new offense, the judge could add an additional consecutive 1-year period of time in prison, whichever is greater, as a maximum. Ma'am, understand that you have a right to appeal this decision, and that notice of appeal must be filed within 30 days of the sentencing judgment entry. Your attorney has indicated to me that you are without funds to hire an attorney to represent you for appeal. Is that correct?
So, there you have it, guys. An Ohio young woman under the age of 21 lost her entire life in a blink of an eye. Not only did she lose her life, she took a life in the process. Well, looks like this case is closed. Sydney Powell got 15 years to life. Thanks again for watching. End of Time Crimes. Peace and blessings.